Okay, hi guys, back again. So I got another one for you today. This time we're looking at the book of Genesis in the Bible. And obviously we know, so what I wanted to chat about today is just about a little bit about Cain and Abel and Genesis in general and all that kind of stuff. So starting off, obviously, we know the very beginning. The Bible says, in the beginning, God created heaven and the earth was without form and the void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and the Lord said, let there be light, and there was la, 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 right? So he goes through, God creates the entire planet, all that kind of stuff, and he looks at it, he creates the sun, the stars, the moon, all that jazz. I don't know about the moon, I just said that, but everything gets done, right? And so he creates Adam, picks up some dust, breathes into a breath of life. Adam comes out of nowhere, right? And so Adam is living in the Garden of Eden, and, he's doing his thing, taking care of the animals, just kind of being a little farmer kind of dude, just taking care of everything, walking with God all the time. Great for him. And then they had, Adam started getting lonely and said, hey, God, all these animals have partners. At least this is how it's depicted in the children's movies, right? All these animals have partners, and I'm over here by myself. I'd really like to have a partner. So then God, from the side of Adam, makes Eve, right? This is what we're taught. Those two come together. They have two kids. Of course, Eve does her thing right off the bat, right? And of course, it's all Eve's fault. And so Adam and Eve have a kid, two kids, Cain and Abel. And Adam knew Genesis 4:1, and Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was the keeper of sheep, but Cain was the tiller of the ground. So Abel was the younger one, and Cain was the older one, right? So Cain, tiller of the ground, he's just a farmer dude. Let me take that off. That way it's not shining. I don't know if it is shining on camera or not. Abel is the shepherd, right? So he's got like sheep and stuff. So Abel's murdered, right? So Cain and Abel, they decide that they decide they're going to have sacrifice offerings to God, or not sacrifice at that point. They didn't need to sacrifice, did they? I don't remember. I have it in front of me. I could read, but I don't have time. It's a video. So Cain and Abel both bring their offerings to God. Cain brings some vegetables, some fruits, whatever that he grows from the ground, because that's what he is. He's a farmer, right? And Abel brings him a lamb, because that's what Abel is. He's a shepherd, right? God looks at Abel and says, oh, I love your present. And he looks at Cain and says, oh, I very dislove your present. Why? Abel is just a shepherd, so it's like, of course, Abel would bring something of his work, and Cain is a gardener, so he would bring something of his work, right? So it's like saying, I have two sons. One son is a car manufacturer, and the other is a farmer, literally a farmer, right? Oh man, farmers, poor farmers, they haven't gotten much better. They really haven't gotten great things since the biblical times and stuff. Well, poor guys. So so you have these guys bringing the best of what they have to offer to God, and God is just like, ooh, I like this one, I don't like that one, you're no good. Just, fair, and unconditionally loving. I just feel like that's kind of mean right off the bat, but we're not talking about that. So because God prefers Cain over Abel, his sacrifice over Abel, showing that small bit of favoritism, that's allowing Cain to be mad. And Cain decides he's going to kill his brother. So Cain kills Abel, right? Pooey. Here's the deal. So at this point in the garden, we think about it. God created the heavens and the earth. Man did not exist on the earth. Then he created Adam. Then he created Eve. and they had 2 kids, Cain and Abel. So at this point, there are 3 men and 1 woman. Okay. Cain kills Abel. There are 2 men and 1 woman. Okay. So then it says, behold, thou, Genesis 4:14, behold, thou hast driven out of me this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that every one that findeth him shall slay me. That every one that findeth me shall slay me. There's 3 people on the planet. Who's everyone that finds me? There's only 3. It's Adam, Eve, and Cain. And Cain is worried that anybody who sees him on the planet is going to kill him. Maybe he's talking about his dad. Maybe he's afraid of his dad. Maybe he's afraid of his mom. I have seen some pretty violent moms. It wouldn't surprise me if Eve was like, she already broke the law once. She might as well do it twice, right? Makes sense. But it's interesting that it says that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And so God said, you know what? I'm going to put a mark on you, Cain. If anybody kills you, your vengeance is going to be given, 7 times. Then it says, which is odd because it's only 3 people at this point. Then it says, Cain dwells in the land of Nod. Verse 16 of Genesis 4. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Suddenly there's this other city, this other place, the land of Nod. Okay. And Cain knew his wife, and they conceived and bare Enoch. Okay, so there's a massive gap as far as things that happen there, right? Suddenly Cain has a wife. So is this his sister? Is this Eve? Who is this, right? We know it's not Eve because then we have the birth of Seth from Adam and Eve later. But Cain has got a wife. He went into the land of Nod and took a wife. Where are these people from? It was only supposed to be 3 people on the planet. It's supposed to be Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. Abel's dead. It's supposed to be Adam, Eve, and Cain. But now we've got this whole other land where Cain is able to go and find a wife separate from Eve, unless he's having kids with his sister, And they conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city and named the name of the city after his son Enoch. So they built a city, and they Cain and his wife and their baby child built a city. Or maybe his young child. Maybe Enoch was like 10 years old doing all this carpentry work, right? There's nobody else in the land of Nod. This is what we have to assume for the Bible to be correct, right? There's nobody else. It's just Cain, and it's just his wife, and it's just this little tiny kid named Enoch. And they're going to build an entire city. And then they just start having kind of wild sex, Then Enoch was born to Irad. Irad begat Mehujalah. Mehujalah begat Methuselah. And Methuselah begat Lamech. And the women for these men are just coming out of nowhere. Enoch was born, and unto Enoch was born Irad. So who did Enoch take? Because we're just giving birth to men. We're just giving birth to men here. It's Adam and Eve. Then there was Cain, there's Abel, and now there's Enoch. And these women are just coming out of nowhere. Like, where are these women coming from, right? And so, and Irad begat Mehujalah, and Mehujalah begat Methuselah, Methuselah begat Lamech, and women were just plentiful, and we're assuming that all of these men are not having sex with their sisters or having sex with their mom. But this is right. So, yeah. So anyways, so we're going to take a gander. We're going to guess that in the land of Nod, there was a whole other realm of people that existed, right? Because Cain took a wife, okay? It didn't say Cain took his sister. It said Cain took a wife, which means that there was other people there. There's just so much that doesn't make sense here, guys. So anyways, so, there's that. So to me, that's kind of one of the things. That's one of this is the reason why I say all the time that, the Bible itself you know, a lot of, in Christianity, we kind of use this thing as a sword and run around whacking people across the head with them and tell them to convert, you know, or freaking die. No, I'm just kidding. but, but yeah, so you have literally Cain just walking into a land where all of a sudden a whole bunch of people exist that were never created, and there's women all over the place, and there's just men coming out of these women, and these women are just like spawning onto the earth like in a PC game. And yeah. So, and then they build up their kind of little empire of a whole bunch of dudes, and there's still no women. So who knows? But then you go, you know, Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son. The question is, how many other men knew Adam's wife before Adam decided to know his wife again? You know, how many men knew Cain's wife? Because where are these women coming from? Okay, that's my point there. The other point to make is just in general with the book of Genesis. Oh, I'm out of time. All right, that'll be a different video. Okay, all right, that is all that I have for today. And prepare for the second video with me wearing another set of glasses. Or I guess the same set of glasses, because it's going to be in like, it might even come, yeah. I'll see y'all later. Bye.